My name is Melanie Harvey, and under my faculty advisor, Dr. David Argent, I did my research on white nose syndrome in North American bats. Most people tend to believe that bats are insignificant because of their small size, but that is not true. Bats are extremely good pollinators, so we need them in our ecosystems. Bats can eat over 1,000 insects in one night, which means that that is over their own body weight. The amount of these insects consumed helps with our crops because most of these insects are agricultural pests. Bats have very few natural predators, so diseases are what affect them the most negatively and cause their populations to decline. One of the main diseases at the moment is P. destructans, and it is a fungus that is found on bats' muzzles and wings. It is causing multiple species of bats to become threatened, but with the help of scientific studies, biologist intervention, and common people's efforts, the amount of destruction done by white nose can be decreased. In 2006, cave explorers near New York took pictures of bats with a white powder-like substance on their faces. This later became the first ever known case of white nose in the United States. Researchers began tracking it back, and it was found to be in other continents like Europe and Asia, so they started studying it there too. The United States bats tend to get sicker from white nose, and the European and Asian bats have found ways to adapt to it. In the United States, there is an annual average mortality rate of 99%. Some species are adapting and surviving, but most of our populations have not been recovering. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service estimated in 2012 that 6.7 million bats in North America have died from white nose syndrome, and the numbers have just been going up ever since. Because the fungus grows best in dark, damp caves, hibernating bats and cave-dwelling bats are affected the most. Cave-dwelling and hibernating bats make up about half of the bat species in the United States. P. destructans invades the bare skin of bats while they're in an inactive state of hibernacula. The fungus causes the bat to become active because it is irritating them, which makes the bat use up its fat storage. It will then fly out of the cave to find food after using up its fat storage, but because it is winter, there will not be any food sources available, and the bats can starve. P. destructans is spread primarily in three ways, which are from bat to bat, from cave to bat, and from human to bat because of the fungus being on clothing and gear. White nose is a little hard to detect in some cases. When biologists conduct annual bat population surveys, they can tell that a bat has white nose by looking for the white fuzz on their muzzle or wings. However, sometimes there's not physical signs of white nose. In order to test bats for P. destructans that don't have physical signs, they pass a moistened swab over the bat's muzzles and forearms. Environmental substrate is also swabbed, and these swabs are analyzed in a lab to see if P. destructans is present. Carcasses and wing biopsies from visibly affected bats are also tested. Biologists and common people can help with white nose. Biologists help by putting chemicals on cave walls, which are antifungal. Vaccines are being studied to produce protective immune responses, and habitat modification, heated bat boxes, and UV light are being researched to prevent the fungus from growing or thriving in certain areas. Things that community members can do are set up bat boxes and keep track of how many bats come in and out, plant pollinator gardens to attract bats and provide them with resources, reduce habitat disturbances by reducing outdoor lighting and minimizing tree clearing, attend educational programs about the bats and white nose syndrome, and then teach others the information they have learned, and watch for bats in their area and report unusual bat behavior. And they can also avoid gated or closed caves, leaving bats alone, and cleaning their clothing and gear after exploring caves. Thank you.